So let's learn about this MT104 format specification, which is given by the Swift Message Standard Handbook. So basically, it contains how many sequences? Sequence A is there, sequence B is there, and the sequence C is there. So there are three sequences basically. This message is basically categorized into. There are a lot of fields which are there. Okay. So structure, if you see the structure, it has sequence A, sequence B, and sequence C. Sequence A, sequence B, and sequence C. The sequence A basically has this general information. Sequence B, whereas if you see, it contains a repetitive transaction details. And the sequence C basically is nothing but the settlement details. Now, within this, there are plenty of fields within each of the section. So for an example, if you see from a general information point of view, so when you say are sending a general information, what all fields you can carry out here? So for example, field 20 is there, which is nothing but the sender's reference number, right? Sender's reference number. And then these are mandatory basically. This is mandatory. Similarly, there are optional field like 21R, which is optional, customer reference number. Then 23E is there, which is also optional, which is the instruction code, right? Then 21E is there, which is also optional, which is a registration reference. And then what do you call it? The field 30 is there, which is mandatory. This is mandatory, and this is mandatory. And this field 30 is but nothing but the requested execution date. On this date, this message will be executed, requested execution date. Then you have this 50A, then you have this 50A creditor. So 50, sorry, this one is 51A and this one is 50A. 50A is optional. This one is also optional. This is sending institution. This is creditor. Then you have 52A, which is optional. 26T is there. Rather, I would say right here, optional. 26T is there, which is transaction type code. 52A is the ordering institution, right? Sorry, creditors bank. 2060 is there, transaction type code. Another optional field is 77B, which is already you know that this is a regulatory reporting of the respective country. 71A is there, which is again optional, which is details of the charges. And field 72 is there, optional altogether, field 72. This is sender to receiver information. So these many fields can come in a sequence A only alone, wherein the field 20 is the mandatory one and field 30 is the mandatory one. And that's pretty much, these are the two mandatory fields which can be there in a sequence. The rest all are optional basis on the bilateral agreement or the basis on the scenario specific to the flow wise you would be sending out in a sequence A. Likewise, we have sequence B and sequence C.